Everybody loves dads, stories, and the Marine Corps. What could be better than Marine Corps dads who tell stories? Here's another story with veteran storyteller John Sugar Jr., a Marine Corps dad.
Hello, Valerie. All right, tonight we're going to tell the story of the alligator that tried to take over the swamp.
Alligator.
Once upon a time, there was an alligator named Al. Al. Yep, Al. And Al, the gator, wanted to take over the whole swamp here in Florida. And you guys saw how big that swamp was. So Al, the gator, went around the swamp and the marsh and the wetlands and started yelling at all the animals. He's like, I'm in charge now, and if anybody doesn't like it, I'm gonna beat them up. And so the animals were like, okay. And there was like a hedgehog, and Al yelled at it. Ah! And the hedgehog went and curled up so the alligator wouldn't get him. And then alligator went over to a big heron and was like, ah, with his mouth wide open with all of his alligator teeth. And the heron just kind of hid his beak under his wing. But then the alligator came up to something he'd never seen before. It kind of looked like a beaver, but it had a shell.
A turtle.
And so alligator's like going around this thing. He's like, you, I am in charge now. If you don't like it, I'm gonna beat you up. What he didn't know is that he was speaking to an armadillo. And his name was Army.
Army.
Yep, Armadillo. And Armadillo was kind of an easygoing kind of guy, but he didn't like it when bullies tried to push people over. So he was like, okay, try to beat me up. And I was like, I'll do it. I will do it. I will beat you up. The Army's like, okay, man. Go for it. Knock on wood. So alligator opened his mouth real wide, and he said, ah, and he rushed forward, and he grabbed Army by the head. Just grabbed him by the head with his mouth, and was like, ah, and bit him. But there was a problem.
What?
He kept trying to hide him. And he couldn't bite him. It's like trying to bite a brick, you know. It's like, and he tried it on this side. And he tried the other side of his mouth, maybe with the stronger teeth over there. And he put him up in the air a little bit. And Armadillo is just kind of hanging there, his little arms and legs just dangling. This real patient look on his face. As Al wears himself out trying to eat Army. And eventually, his jaw started cramping. So he dropped Army and flopped over onto his back. Why can't I beat you up? And Army said, well, I'm an armadillo. And when God made me, he gave me a tough shell that people can't bite through. So, good try there, though. Good try, eh? Army was Canadian. And Al the gator just laid there, and he realized that all the other animals in the swamp were looking, and they had seen Al not beat up Army the armadillo. And so, from that day on, Al the gator just hid underwater and would attack from under the water, but he would hide so no one would see him because he was so embarrassed that he couldn't beat up Army the armadillo. And that's the end.
Armadillo.
That was another story with John Sugar Jr., a Marine Corps dad. Check the show notes for links to his Patreon and website at creativegrumbles.com.